Hello, welcome back to the Between Sessions series. This is a series that I put together to, there's so much training out there. It's really hard to find an hour, to find half an hour. But when we're having a cup of tea between sessions or eating our lunch, sometimes we might have a spare 15 or 20 minutes. So today's topic is about how do you ensure that a couple come back for a second session? And the reason why this came into my mind was when I started working with couples, frequently enough, people would come in for one session and they wouldn't come back. And I didn't really know why or what was going on. Through the years of doing this work and in thinking about it and in thinking of really what makes a difference, what really helps facilitate change, I came to the idea of the Four Cornerstones. Anyone who's done my training would be familiar with these. And basically, without integrating the Four Cornerstones into the work of couples therapy, no work will be done. And I say that very confidently, no work will be done. And the Four Cornerstones are about really showing up in the room with the clients with a good relational stance, respecting them with deep curiosity and in your own authenticity. And they are the conditions that are required to help a couple start to feel safe, start to open up, start to feel understood within the therapy. Probably, they're not far away from Carl Rogers' core conditions as well. So that by providing these conditions, it opens up a working alliance and a relationship that then facilitates more vulnerable conversation, more challenge, more exploration of process. So it's like these conditions open the door to actually doing the deeper work of therapy. They also need to be underscored by strong leadership, and I'll come back to that shortly. But the other way to think about it, or the other lens to consider it from, is the lens of regulation. And we understand as therapists the importance of working within the window of tolerance with our clients, maybe towards the edge of it, but within the window of tolerance. And if we think about regulation, and there's a lot of amazing techniques out there for regulation, breathing techniques, grounding techniques, essential oils, there's different things that people use. But I think my experience has been that the most significant grounding technique is attunement and really taking the time to acknowledge where someone is at and understand it. When you can meet a person in that place, their nervous system starts to regulate down or regulate up. Again, I think someone is not going to be able to come back to a regulated state without integrating these four cornerstones. Couples work, it's such important work, and it can be so nerve-wracking, actually, if I use that word, because couples come in and say, this is our last chance, or we have 4 kids and we don't know if we can stay together or not. Or something really terrible has happened. There's been a betrayal exposed, and what are we going to do? So, and as therapists, and there's not many therapists out there who aren't drawn to feeling that we need to do something to help fix that in some way. That can be a very natural process that we unconsciously enter. So a couple come in, there's something big, as a therapist, like, oh, wow, how am I going to help them to navigate through this? And we can want to, particularly say that in that first session, we can want to feel like we can do something for them. But actually, the biggest and most important thing we can do for them at that moment is to be with them in relationship, with respect, with curiosity, and in our own authenticity. And within that, we have the boundaries of strong leadership as well, so that there's a safe holding for the couple within it. So the strong leadership really holds it as a safe space, holds the boundaries, holds the consent on both sides. That is the starting point. So don't be afraid in that first session. Don't be even thinking about what we need to do or what needs to be done to fix or anything like that. Just hold the ground underneath your feet and sit and say, okay, what my intention now in this first session is to really get a strong understanding of how you each see the issues, what's going on for you, how have you tried to fix them, what's important for me to know and understand about you. So that word curiosity, and curiosity is your saving grace, particularly if you really are drawn to that sense of, oh, that really feels like there's one that's more problematic here. Bring a curiosity to that. Curiosity will bring you back to a neutral position. They have done research in couples therapy as well as individual therapy, saying that relationship tied in with the working alliance is the most important thing that can help facilitate change within couples therapy. So that's been researched. We know it. And, you know, I think being down to earth, meeting people where they're at being respectful. And I suppose that brings us into the next one, respect. And what does respect mean? Respect, I think, can be even, say, respect for the coping strategies that people have had to develop to survive. And those coping strategies might look like shouting. They might look like anger. They might look like sulking. So respect for the person, and that they're coming in and that they are bringing in potential shameful behaviors, and sitting there and really respecting them as a human being, that they're showing up. And again, bringing that then curiosity and authenticity into that. Authenticity, let's go to that one. What does that mean? Again, if you think of, again, that word regulation, if you feel someone's being inauthentic with you, it vibrates your nervous system not in a good way. Someone sitting there and feeling real, it's kind of a hard one to describe. You're real. You're not this superior expert that's going to tell them about how to be in a good relationship. You can sit there in your realness and your authenticity, and whatever that looks like. It might look like, soft. It might look like gentle. It might look like more assertive, wherever you are in your authenticity. And it's a good thing to be aware of if you feel they're not being authentic, because it's like, what's going on in the system that I don't feel like I'm being my true self. Now, being your true self does not mean oversharing. It does not mean sharing inappropriately. It does not mean saying what comes off the top of your head. Like, that's not authenticity. That's more boundaryless. But really being real. Sharing how you are, sharing your experiences with the couple can help them understand their own experience. And that will build up a trust. The word curiosity, every single one of my couples and every person that has done training with me will know that it is my most used word, my most favorite, I think most useful, because curiosity, if you're ever feeling stuck, curiosity is the route out. If someone says, I'm doing something really difficult in relationship, I'm out playing golf morning, noon, and night, and I'm not paying my wife much attention, you bring curiosity. So is that how you want to be in relationship? Is that okay with you? But yes, it is okay with me. Okay, so, and you're here. Is it not okay for your wife? No, she's given out all the time. All right, so what's going on? So you're saying I'm doing something I'm okay with, your wife isn't. So I'm curious to understand, how is that working out between the two of you? What do you think the solutions are? So, and even at the earlier stages, I might kind of bring in what I call a real puzzled curiosity. It's like you're there and you're saying you do the best you can, and you're really being a good wife, a good husband, and your partner's furious with you. Can we really bring a puzzled curiosity to that, to try to understand what's happening in those two positions that it's not working? So, as I say, curiosity, keep it. It's the if you were to throw everything else out of your toolbox as such, or your psychological toolbox, keeping curiosity in is the one that you will go to most. And then, as I say, that strong leadership, strong contracting, informed consent, boundaries of behavior in the therapy room, boundaries of transparency. They keep the space really, really safe for your couples. If you sit in that position, if you bring those four cornerstones in with the strong leadership in your first session, people will feel understood, they feel met, they'll feel that you're real, they feel that they can trust you. They will come back for the second session. And I do not remember the last time that I have had a couple that have come for one session and not come back. So, so the proof is in the pudding, as they say. It works. People come back, people feel understood. And as I say, and that goes through all the therapies, not just in the first session, but it is an essential element of the first session to really help support people to feel like the couples therapy is a space that's going to work well for them. So thank you for your time, and we'll be back again for more between sessions.